September means back to school time for kids and parents, and back to work for teachers. It's a time when Coon Rapids educators get re-energized for a brand new year, learning from years past, but adapting for the future.
You get your batteries refreshed, you come back, you're ready to go again.
A new school year begins this month, and 8th graders at Coon Rapids Middle School are back where they've been for the past 2 years, in familiar surroundings. But none may know these halls better than Bob Adams and John Chasteen, with 43 years of combined experience between these walls. In the early 90s, both of them saw something special here, coming back after first being rejected.
Coon Rapids High School was the first place I looked at getting into, but I bombed the interview there, so the very next day I interviewed here at the middle school.
I actually went to Adams to deliver a resume and my cover letter, just to let him know that I was available for a job that he had opened, the principal, and he said, sorry, that's been filled. And then about 2 days later, he had a teacher come to him and say, I'm really sorry, but I have to take a job really far away. And so he was under the gun trying to find someone. So I went in and interviewed, and the rest is history.
Adams planned his future by going back to a place from his past.
I've always been in Coon Rapids. I went to school here at Coon Rapids, grew up in Coon Rapids. I actually attended class in this very classroom that I'm teaching in today.
The 8th grade geography teacher has seen major changes since he started in 1993.
Teachers are held a lot more accountable. My first year as the history teacher, I remember coming in my first day on the job. I was in front of my class, my first hour, and I was the history teacher, and I'm supposed to know everything there is about history, and I didn't. We started on chapter 1, but then the question became, okay, how long, where do you start in American history? As a teacher, do I start at the Revolutionary War? Do we start at the Civil War? And then once we start that unit, how much time do we spend on that unit? Do you spend a week, 2 weeks, a month? Nobody told me. So as a young teacher, I didn't have a lot of support, I don't think, compared to what they have today.
When you hear "give me 5," that means you stop what you're doing, you look up, and you're listening.
6th grade social studies teacher John Chasteen says in his time here, communication has gone from blackboards and chalk to smartphones and Promethean boards.
It was almost non-existent, the technology. I remember when I student taught, Oregon Trail was real big, and students got to do that, but it was very few and far between that they got to actually sit at a computer and do that. When I first taught, we didn't have phones in our room. We didn't even have computers in our room. No computers for the teachers at all. We kept track of our grades in pencil and paper, and I had to do all my grades with a calculator and figure out all the percentages and everything. And now we have grading programs and Wi-Fi, and kids bring their cell phones to class and they actually use them. So it's just mind-boggling how far technology's come in that time.
Despite those advancements, they say the students haven't changed much.
Kids are kids, They grow up to be adults just like all of us did. Sometimes I think I'm getting back how I tortured my teachers when I was in 8th grade in elementary school. I'm being paid back now sometimes, but I don't think the kids change a whole lot. There's a lot of opportunities for kids to be involved in activities. So it's just a matter of whether they take advantage of those opportunities.
I think kids now are maybe a little bit more well-informed than kids in the past, like 10, 15 years ago, just because of the technology. My son will tell me news because he's on Twitter, and he'll say, did you hear this or did you hear that? And I usually don't catch it until either I watch the news or read the paper the next day. So, I just think that they're more savvy and probably a little bit more aware of what's going on around them.
Although there are new distractions, teachers are finding a way to engage students.
Some of us want to be good. We say we're going to be good, but are you willing to put in the extra effort to be the best? I teach them life lessons. I teach them, I tell them, I like to tell stories, you know, that can hopefully have a point.
For these teachers at school 193 days a year for more than 20 years each, not every day is a good one.
We have problems in our community just like every school does. Every community has problems. Hopefully, you know, we can limit our problems, you know, by teaching our kids respect and you know, hopefully we don't have problems like that anymore.
Bob and John say although students aren't bringing in apples for teachers anymore, they've found ways to show they care.
In my personal life, I've had people pass away that I'm close to, and usually if the students find out, they'll make a card or they'll all make a bunch of cards for me or whatever, so it kind of always you know, helps you through that.
They know one day they'll permanently see class dismissed, but Mr. Adams and Mr. Chastain say they're not quite ready to pack up their textbooks.
I'll probably retire at Coon Rapids Middle School. I don't think I'm going to go anywhere else.
I like coming to work every day, you know, so I think I'll take it one year at a time and see where I go. I'm constantly learning things every year, and you never know it all. And when you do know it all, maybe it's time to leave.
Chastain says he's now getting a new education in Minnesota history after being switched to teach the subject for the first time this fall.